Hi friends, welcome to Cracku's video series. I'm Saili Kale. I'm one of the co-founders of Cracku and an alumna of IIM Ahmedabad. In this particular video, we'll be discussing all the DILR sets from CAT 2021 paper from Slot-1. So we have explained each of the set in detail in this particular video. If you're looking for free mocks to prepare for CAT, please do check out our description box. We have given the links to 3 free mocks in the description box. Apart from that, while you're preparing for CAT, we strongly recommend that you see all the CAT previous year's papers. Cracku has put up all the CAT previous year's papers, both in the PDF format which you can download, or you can take them in actual mock format, which is recommended because then you'll get actual exam experience as such. So apart from that, please do also check out our formula sheets. We have formula PDFs which encompass all the formulas that you will need for cracking CAT. So please do check out our description box for all these free resources that you can use to crack CAT. Thank you and please keep watching.
In this question, we are told that there is a journal which is publishing 18 research papers, and these 18 research papers, each one of them is written by one of the 8 authors: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. We are also told that there are 4 issues of this journal. One is in January, April, July, and October. That is in each of these 4 months. We are also told that the number of journals that were published in the first 2 issues, that is in January and April, is 5. April is 5. And the remaining 2 issues, that is July and October, is 4 each. We are also told that every author wrote at least 1 paper and at most 3 papers. And the total number of papers written by A, D, G, and H, that is 4 of them, is double the number of papers written by the remaining 4 authors. So if you think about it, the total number of papers written by A, D, G, and H is 2 times the number of papers written by B plus C plus E plus F. If you assume that the number of papers written by B, C, E, and F is X, the number of papers written by A, D, G, and H is 2x. And the sum of X plus 2x is equal to 18, which is the total number of papers, or the value of X is equal to 6. So B, C, E, and F wrote 6 papers, while A, D, G, and H wrote 12 papers. We are also told that the number of papers written by each one of them lies between 1 and 3. So if each author is writing a maximum of 3 papers and the sum of the number of papers written by these 4 guys, A, D, G, and H, is 12, it would imply that A wrote 3 papers, D wrote 3 papers, G wrote 3 papers, and H wrote 3 papers. And the sum of B plus C plus E plus F, this is equal to 6. We are also told that there are 4 people who are from India. There are 2 people from Japan and 2 people from China. We are also told that the number of each of these authors and each of these papers has to belong to one of the 3 areas. One of the areas is manufacturing, one of the areas is automation, and one of the areas is logistics. We are told that there are 4 people in logistics, 2 in automation, so this would imply that the remaining 2 are in manufacturing. In addition to that, we have been given some clues. So let us try to fill these clues. Let us try to actually make a table and fill these clues, and let us try to answer the questions based on it. The table will have 8 rows for each one of the 8 authors, and it is going to have some columns. One will contain their name, the department, country, and the months in which they were published. So we will have 4 columns. This is the name of the first author, A. This is the name of the second author, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. This is the country. This is the area, and this is the issue. Let us go through all the clues. F is an Indian author. So the country of F is India. And he works from logistics. This is logistics. And he has only 1 paper, and this is in October. So here we know that F is equal to 1 So this would imply that B plus C plus E has to equal 5. And this we have completely taken care of. So let us put a tick over here. So when we come back to reiterate, we won't spend any time on the first point. The second point is that A was from automation. So this guy is from automation and did not have a paper scheduled in October. So he did not have a paper scheduled in October. The number of papers that A has is 3. This would imply that the months in which A was published is the remaining 3, which is January, April and July. This also will put a tick, because whatever information is there over here, we have taken care of it. None of the Indian authors are from manufacturing. So anybody who is in manufacturing is either from China or Japan. And none of the Japanese or Chinese authors are from automation. So it would imply that everybody who is in automation has to be from India. So even A, this guy has to be from India, because he is in automation. A and H were from different countries. So this would imply that H is not from India, but had their papers scheduled in the exact same issues. This would imply that H also had his papers in Jan, April and July. C and E, both of them are Chinese authors. So C is China and E is China. And both of them are from different areas. So let us assume that this guy is from P and E is from Q. So basically P and Q have to be one of manufacturing or logistics, because Chinese and Japanese authors are not from automation. So let us keep that in mind. P, Q has to be one of manufacturing or logistics. Had the same number of paper schedule. So C is equal to E. Further, E was scheduled in consecutive months. So this is in consecutive months. And C did not. This is not consecutive. As C is equal to E, if we go up over here, there are some possibilities over here. The possibilities are that either C is equal to E is equal to 1 and B will be equal to 3, or C is equal to E is equal to 2 and B is equal to 1. These are the only two possibilities. But because we know that E has his paper scheduled in consecutive months, the number of papers that E has published definitely can't be equal to 1. So this would imply that C is equal to E is equal to 2 and B is equal to 1. So now we have figured out the number of papers published by each one of them. A is 3, B is 1, C is equal to 2, D is equal to 3, E is 2, F is 1, G is 3 and H is 3. Let us go through all the clues again. B is from logistics area. B is from logistics. And had a paper scheduled in the April issue. So this guy is scheduled from April. B and G belong to the same country. So the country that B belongs and the country that G belongs is the same. That cannot be China, because we know both the people who are actually from China. That has to be either India or Japan. Now if you think about it, once you realize that both the people from China have been detected, H, who is not from India, has to definitely be from Japan. And if H is from Japan, there is only one other guy who is from Japan. So B and G cannot be from Japan. So B and G have to definitely be from India. So this is India and this is India. Now there is only one guy left, that guy is D. We have identified all the 4 people from India and 2 people from China. So this would imply that D is definitely from Japan. None of these papers were scheduled in the same issue of the journal. Now we know that B is from April and G has scheduled 3 issues. So this would imply that G was from the remaining 3 months. That is, one is January, April is not there, then is July and finally October. D is a Japanese author, which we know, and he is from manufacturing. He did not have a paper scheduled in the July edition. D also has 3 papers, and if he doesn't have a paper in July issue, it would imply that he has a paper in January, April and October. C and H belong to different areas. So H is not from P. This is what we know. If you look at it, we have identified the country for each one of them. Let us now try to focus on the areas. We know that there are 4 people in logistics. There are 2 people in manufacturing and 2 people in automation. This is the case at the start. How many have we definitely identified? We have identified 1 auto. So we need to identify one more guy who is from auto. And this guy has to be an Indian. All the people who are in automation have to be Indians. Who is that guy? That guy cannot be A or B or F. So that guy definitely has to be G. So this guy has to be auto. So this would imply that we have identified all the people who are in auto. We have identified 2 people in logistics. So we need to identify 2 more people in logistics. And we have identified 1 guy in manufacturing. So we need to identify 1 more guy in manufacturing. So we need to identify the area for 3 people. And who are these 3 people? One of them has to be C, one of them has to be E, and one of them has to be H. We know that C and D belong to different areas. We are also told that C and H belong to different areas. So C is from one area, E and H will be from the other area. This would imply that E and H are from logistics and C is from manufacturing. Let us try to put this over here. So C is from manufacturing and E and H are from logistics. Now if you come to think about it, we just need to identify the issue for each one of them. We know that there are 5 in January, there are 5 in April, there are 4 in July, and there are 4 in October. Now if you remove A has 1 in January, so we have to identify 4 more, 1 in April, so this also, and 1 in July. So we need to allocate 4, 4, 3, 4. The reason I do this is because just to avoid any confusion and any silly mistake. Then if we are accounting for the 1 publication that B has in April, we have 3 left in April. We don't know C, we just know that it is 2. If you account for D's 3 publications, there is 1 in January, so this is 3 remaining, 1 in April, so this is 2 remaining, and 1 in October, so this is 3 remaining. We are done with D. And E also has 2 which we don't know, but these 2 have to be consecutive ones. So we'll come back to C and E later on. If you account for F, you have to remove 1 from October. So we need to account for 3 publications in January, 2 in April, 3 in July, and 2 in October as of now. We have January, July, and October. So January, if you decrease 1, this is 2. July, if you decrease 1, this is 2. And October, if you decrease 1, this is 1. Then if you account for this, it is January, April, and July. So this is 1, 1, and 1. So basically, if you are looking for the issues in which C and E have their publication has occurred, the total number of publications is 4. This is already known to us because C has 2 publications and E has 2 publications. If you remove the remaining 6 people, the number of publications remaining in each of the 4 issues, January, April, July, and October, is 1 each. Now, which month did C and E get their issues publicized? We know that E had got it publicized in consecutive months and C did not get it publicized in consecutive months. The only way this is happening is if E gets his publication in the middle 2 months and C gets it at the extremes. In any other case, either both of them will have consecutive months or both of them will not have consecutive months. For example, if E, the consecutive months you are choosing for E is say the first 2, then the remaining 2 will also be consecutive months. If the 2 months that we are selecting for E are the last 2 consecutive months, then the 2 consecutive months for C also will be the first 2 which are consecutive months. We don't want this to happen. So this would imply that E, who got his additions in consecutive months, has to be the middle 2. This has to be April and July. This would imply that the remaining two, which are non-consecutive months, one is at the start and one is at the end. This is January and October is C. Now let us look at the questions that follow. Which of the following is the correct sequence of the number of papers written by B, C, E and G? B has written 1, C has written 2, E has written 2 and G has written 3. So it has to be 1, 2, 2, 3, which is option A. How many papers were written by Indian authors? A, B, F, G are the Indian authors. A wrote 3 papers, B wrote 1 paper, F wrote 1 paper and G wrote 3 papers. So the correct answer is 8. Which of the following statements must be true? Every issue had at least 1 paper authored by each country. Let us try to find out if any author from India was present in at least one of the 4 issues each. If you are looking at A, we can already account for January, April and July. We have to just check if there is any Indian author who got his publication in October. That you can identify F. So the first statement is true for India. Let us try to identify for China. We have January, October and April, July. C was in January, October and E is April, July. So again, each one of the 4 issues had exactly 1 publication from the Chinese guy. So it is true for even China. Then if you are looking at Japan, we have January, April and October. We need to figure out somebody from July. And July, this person is there. H has a paper from July. So statement A is true. For each one of the 3 countries, India, China and Japan, we have identified at least 1 paper published by one author from the country in each of the 4 issues. Let us look at the second statement. Every issue had at most 2 papers by authors from each area. So we have the January issue, we have the April issue, we have the July issue and we have the October issue. Let us first start with logistics because it has the most number of people. There are 4 people. So how many people from logistics have published in January? Logistics guy, one guy has published in April. The next logistics guy has published in April and July. Then we have one guy in October. Then finally we have January, April and July. So we have January, April and July. This clearly breaks in April for logistics. So statement B is not true. We can do the same for even the remaining automation and manufacturing. But we start with logistics because it has the most number of people and we are finding a contradiction here. So only statement A is true. Let us look at the next question. Which of the following statements is false? Every issue had at least 1 paper by authors from automation. So let us look at the 4 issues again. January, April, July and October. Let us look at automation. The first guy is from India. Both the automation guys are actually from India. January, April and July. January, April and July. The next automation guy is G. He has January, July and October. So the first statement is true. At least 1 paper in automation was published in each one of the 4 editions. Every issue had exactly 1 paper by a Chinese author. Let us look at the 2 Chinese authors. The first Chinese author is C. He has one in January and October. The second Chinese author is E. He has in April and July. So this also is true. Let us look at the third statement. Every issue had exactly 2 papers by authors from logistics area. There are 4 authors in logistics area. First one is A. He has a paper in January, April and July. The second guy is B. He has a paper in April. The third guy is E. He has a paper in April and July. So this is clearly failing. So this has to be false. So the correct answer is C, because we have 3 papers in logistics from April issue. But just for the sake of completion, let us look at even option D. This has to be true according to the plan. Every issue had exactly 2 papers by Indian authors. There are 4 Indian authors. The first guy is A. He has a paper in January, April and July. Second guy is B. He has a paper in April. Third guy is F, he has a paper in October. Fourth guy, we have A, then B, F, and finally it is G, who has a paper in January, July and October. So this also is true. So the correct answer is C, which is the only statement which is false. Which of the following statements is false? There were exactly 2 papers by authors from manufacturing area in January issue. Manufacturing guys are C and D. C has 1 paper in January and D has 1 paper in January. So this is true. Let us look at the second option. There were exactly 1 paper by an author from manufacturing in April issue. In April, again C and D in manufacturing, there is only 1 issue and that is by D. So this also is true. Let us look at the third option. There was exactly 1 paper by an author from logistics in October issue. Logistics, 1 guy has it in April and July, the second logistics guy. Third logistics guy, who is F, has an issue in October, and the last logistics guy is January, April and July. So there is actually only 1 paper from logistics in the October issue. So this is true. This means that the last option has to be false, but just let us confirm it once. There were exactly 2 papers from manufacturing area in July issue. Manufacturing again is C and D, and in July issue actually there are no papers from manufacturing. We have 2 from January, we have 2 from October and 1 from April. So this is false. So the correct answer is D. Let us look at the last question. Which of the following is the correct sequence of the number of papers by authors from automation, manufacturing and logistics? Automation is A and G. A and G, so this has to be a total of 6. Manufacturing is C and D. So this has to be a total of 5. 6 plus 5 is 11. This would imply that the remaining 7 papers are from logistics. Let us just confirm that once. It is B, E, F and H. B is 1, E is 2, F is 1 and H is 3. So this is 7. So the correct answer has to be 6, 5, 7, which is option A.
We at Cracku provide all the previous year CAT papers along with many other MBA examinations such as IIFT, ZAT, SNAP, MAT, CMAT, TIS and PGDBA in the actual exam format. You can attempt them as a test and get a detailed analysis of your performance or download them as PDFs.
In this question, we are told that there are 3 women who can sell 5 finished products. The products are mango smoothie, apple smoothie, banana smoothie, mixed fruit smoothie and fruit salad. The prices of the raw materials are given. The prices of mango, milk, all of these are given. The price of 1 unit of milk is 5. The price of 1 unit of mango is 3. The price of 1 unit of apple is 2 and the price of 1 unit of banana is 1. So if you're trying to calculate the cost price of each of these finished products, let us first draw a table so that we can put that information there. It will look something like this. The first one is a mango smoothie. This is the cost price, this is the profit per unit of the finished product and this is the selling price. Then we have apple smoothie, then we have banana smoothie, we have mixed fruit smoothie and finally we have the fruit salad. The cost price of a mango smoothie is the cost price of milk plus mango, which is 8. The cost price of apple smoothie will be 5 plus 2, which is 7. Of a banana smoothie will be 5 plus 1, which is 6. The cost price of a mixed fruit smoothie will be 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is 11. And the cost price of a fruit salad will be 3 plus 2 plus 1, which is 6. The profit is 2 times the number of units that are mixed. In mango smoothie, we have 2 units which are mixed, which is mango and milk. So the profit will be 4. Same over here and over here. In mixed fruit smoothie, we have all the 4 products, raw materials are mixed, milk, mango, apple and banana. So the profit will be 8. And in fruit salad, 3 of the fruits are mixed. So the profit will be 6. So the selling price will be 12, 11, 10, 19 and 12. The thing to remember is that 12 is the only number which is repeated in this selling price. 10 is unique, 11 is unique, and 19 is unique. If you are looking at the total revenue that the women have made across the 4 hours, it is quite easy to calculate the mixture of finished products that they actually sold. If you make another table which will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. This is R1, this is R2, this is R3, and this is the last hour, hour 4, where some finished products are sold along with some leftovers. This is for Ganga, this is for Kaveri, and this is Narmada. The total revenue of the first hour is 23. This 23 can be expressed as a sum of two selling prices, as there is only one way in which we can express it, that is 11 plus 12. Now the thing to notice is that whenever we see an 11, we can immediately identify that, okay, that 11 is apple smoothie. But when you see a 12, that 12 can be either a mango smoothie or a fruit salad. So we'll just leave it like this as 11 plus 12, we'll come back to it later. R2 is 21, 21 can be expressed in a unique way as 10 plus 11 only. R3 is 29, the only way to express 29 as a sum of two numbers is 10 plus 19. For the leftover, we'll come later. The R4, because it is not very straightforward, we'll come back to it later. First, let us fill the distribution across the first 3 hours. 19 can be expressed as a sum of one or more of these numbers in only one way, and that is as 19 alone. 22 can be expressed as either 11 plus 11 or as 10 plus 12. But 11 plus 11 would imply that Kaveri sold 2 apple smoothies in 1 hour. That is not possible, because one of the conditions is that each woman sold either 0 or 1 unit of a single finished product in an hour. Kaveri cannot sell 2 units of the same finished product. So this is not possible. So the only way we can express 22 as a sum of 2 numbers amongst the list is as 10 plus 12. Another thing to notice is that other than Ganga, nobody sold any mango smoothie. So this 12 by Kaveri is definitely referring to fruit salad. So let us put FS over here just to avoid any confusion. Next is 30. 30 can be expressed as a sum as only 11 plus 19. Similarly, let us do it for even Narmada. Narmada, we have 31, that can be expressed as 19 plus 12. That is the only way to express 31 as a sum of 2 numbers. Now 12 again in case of Narmada will refer only to fruit salad. 21 can be written as 10 plus 11, and 23 can be written as 11 plus 12. Again, this 12 over here will refer only to the fruit salad, because Narmada did not sell any mango smoothies. Now let us come to the last hour. In the last hour, it is given that each woman had exactly 1 unit of 2 different raw materials, that is milk, mango and apple, because nobody has a banana left over. The cost price of milk is 5. The cost price of apple and mango can be calculated. It is given to us. The cost price of apple is 2 and mango is 3. So the selling price, because they were all sold 1 rupee less than their actual cost price, in the last 1 hour, milk was sold for 4 rupees, mango was sold for 2 rupees and apple was sold for 1 rupee. So the mixture of milk plus mango was sold for 6 rupees. The mixture of milk plus apple was sold for 4 plus 1, that is 5 rupees. And the mixture of apple plus mango was sold for 1 plus 2, which is equal to 3 rupees. Now if you are looking at the total amount of money that was made out of finished products by Ganga, the total money that she made is 30. So the money that she made from finished products is either 30 minus 6 or 30 minus 5 or 30 minus 3. Either any one of these 3 is possible. 30 minus 6 would be 24. 30 minus 5 is 25. 30 minus 3 is 27. Using the numbers which are the selling prices of finished products, we can't express 27 as a sum of these numbers. Similarly, we can't express 25 as a sum of any of these numbers. But we can express 24 as the sum of 12 plus 12. So she sold 12 plus 12. Because both of these cannot be the same finished product, it would imply that one of them is the mango smoothie and one of them is the fruit salad. And we'll also infer that the leftover products that were sold by Ganga would cost 6 rupees, so that is milk and mango. Now let us do the same thing for even Kaveri. The total money that Kaveri made in the last hour is 27. So the money that she made by selling finished products is either 27 minus 6 or 27 minus 5 or 27 minus 3. 27 minus 3 is 24, 27 minus 5 is 22, 27 minus 6 is 21. If you are looking at 24, the only way to express 24 as a sum of some of these numbers in the given table is as 12 plus 12, like in the same case as in Ganga. But this would imply that she sold one mango smoothie and one fruit salad. And we know that Kaveri did not sell any mango smoothie. The only person who could have possibly sold mango smoothie is Ganga. So this is not possible. Now we have two cases left. Either it is 22 or 21. Now 22 can be expressed as a sum of two numbers as 10 plus 12. Again, notice that we can't write it as 11 plus 11 because that would imply that Kaveri sold two apple smoothies in 1 hour, which is not allowed. So the only way to do it is as 10 plus 12, or it could even have been 21. 21 can be expressed as a sum of two numbers as 10 plus 11. Both of these cases are possible. Just to reiterate, with respect to Kaveri, in the last hour, there are two possibilities. In one possibility, she sold 10 plus 12. This would imply that she sold 10 is banana smoothie. Kaveri, let us say case 1. So she sold one banana smoothie and the 12 has to be fruit salad because Kaveri did not sell any mango salad. This cost 10 rupees, this cost 12 rupees. And in this particular case, the leftovers with Kaveri at the end of the first 3 hours would cost 5 rupees. So that is milk plus apple. And the leftovers are milk plus apple. This is one case. In the second case, let us say Kaveri case 2. She sold 10 plus 11. 10 is again banana smoothie and 11 is apple smoothie. So she sold banana smoothie plus apple smoothie. This is 10 plus 11. And in this case, the leftover costs 6 rupees. So the leftover have to be milk and mango. So this has to be milk plus mango. These are the two cases possible with respect to with respect to figuring out what Kaveri has sold in the last hour. Now let us do the same thing for even Narmada. The total money that Narmada made in the last 1 hour is 22. So the money that she made by selling finished products is either 22 minus 6 or 22 minus 5 or 22 minus 3. 22 minus 3 is 19, 22 minus 5 is 17 and 22 minus 6 is 16. You can't express 16 as a sum of any of the numbers that are given in the table over here. Similarly, you can't express 17 as a sum of one or more numbers in the table that is given over here, which indicates the prices of the finished products. This would imply that Kaveri made 19 rupees by selling finished products and that 19 has to be the mixed fruit smoothie. So Kaveri made 19. This would imply that the money that she made by selling the leftover raw materials is 3. So the remaining raw materials are apple plus mango. What this implies is that for each of the 3 women across the 4 hours, we were able to identify exactly what each one of them has sold, except in the case of Kaveri in last hour. In case of Kaveri, there are 2 possibilities which we have actually noted down. So now let us go ahead and answer the questions that follow. What best can be concluded about the number of fruit salads sold in the first hour? Fruit salad costs 12 rupees. So in the first hour, Ganga has sold 112 rupees. So that can be either a fruit salad or a mango smoothie. In case of Kaveri, she sold no fruit salad. In case of Narmada, we know for sure that she sold 1 fruit salad. So the total number of fruit salads that are sold is 1 by Narmada plus either 0 or 1 by Ganga. So overall, the number of fruit salads sold are in the first hour is either 1 or 2. So the correct answer is option A. Let us look at the next question. Which of the following is necessarily true? Ganga did not sell any leftover mangoes. Ganga sold one mango. So we can actually say that option A is necessarily false because we can confirm that she actually sold some mangoes. Ganga did not sell any leftover apples. This is actually true and this is definitely true. We know that Ganga sold mango and milk. Those are the raw materials which were left over. So this is true. So the correct answer will be option B. Just for the sake of completeness, let us look at all the 4 options. Option C says Narmada sold 1 unit of leftover milk. Narmada sold 1 apple and 1 mango at the end. So this is again definitely false. We are looking at the 4th option. Kaveri sold 1 unit of leftover mangoes. In the first case, Kaveri sold milk and apple. In the second case, she sold milk and mango. So in the second case, this is true, but in the first case, this is false. So option D is maybe true or maybe false. Both of them are possible based on which case is actually happening. A and C are definitely false. D is maybe true, maybe false. B is definitely true. So the correct answer is option B. What best can be concluded about the total number of units of milk that the 3 women had in the beginning? Let us identify case by case. If you are looking at Ganga, the total number of milk units that she had is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for sure, and this 12 can be either a mango smoothie or a fruit salad. So Ganga has either 7 or 8. If you are looking at Kaveri, Kaveri has 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for sure in the first 3 hours. And if you are looking at the first case and the second case, in the first case it is 1, 2 and 3. In the second case it is, it is not 3, it is actually 2 because fruit salad does not have any milk. It is banana smoothie plus milk. So it is 2. So this is 6 in the first case. In the second case it is 4 plus 1, 2 and 3. This is equal to 7. So Kaveri initially had either 6 or 7. Let us look at Narmada. Narmada has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Because her leftover is apple and mango, there is no milk. So the total number of total number of packets of milk that were there with all 3 women at the start is either 7 plus 6 plus 5, this is 7 plus 6 plus 5, or it is 7 plus 7 plus 5, this is 7 plus 7 plus 5, or it is 8 plus 6 plus 5, this is 8 plus 6 plus 5, or it is 8 plus 7 plus 5. Any one of these 4 options are possible. 7 plus 6 plus 5 is 18, 7 plus 7 plus 5 is 19, 8 plus 6 plus 5 is 19, 8 plus 7 plus 5 is 20. So the initial number of milk packets is either 18 or 19 or 20. So the correct answer is option B. Let us look at the last question. If it is known that 3 leftover units of mangoes were sold during the last business hour of the day, so there are 3 mangoes which were sold in the last business hour. How many apple smoothies were sold during the day? Apple smoothie, just to remember, is 11. And we know that 3 mangoes were sold as leftover in the last hour. So we know that Ganga sold 1 mango, Narmada sold 1 mango. These 2 are confirmed. This would imply that the number of leftover mangoes with Kaveri has to be equal to 1. That would mean that it is option B. That is the second case that we are talking about, because here we have a mango, here we don't have a mango. So now if you are looking at the number of 11s, that is the number of apple smoothies that were sold overall, by Kaveri it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the correct answer will be 6.
Google search Cracku free cat marks. Click on the first link. You can attempt 3 latest mocks in the actual exam interface. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis and percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance. Click on the solutions to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, we are told that there are 7 friends. Let us call them A, B, C, D and E. They are all either strangers or acquaintances or friends. For each one of them, if a particular person has a relationship with another person, then even vice versa is true. That is, suppose A is a stranger to B, then B is also a stranger to A. In these kind of questions, normally what I try to do is build a table, which is a cross-section table, and try to fill it up. It will look, because there are 7 people, it is going to look something like this. It is going to have 7 rows and 7 columns. It will look something like this. The rows and columns will be the same. This is A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Similarly, this also will be A, B, C, D, E, F and G. We won't have any relationship between the same person, that is A and A should not exist. So let us draw a line across the diagonal. Now whenever we know the relationship between A and B, say, when we'll fill up the table, we'll have to ensure that we are filling it up 2 times, because once we know the relationship between A and B, we'll have to fill the same thing for even B and A. Sometimes people can just cross off all the numbers or all the cells which are above the diagonal and just fill the numbers which are below the diagonal. But I prefer to fill the data twice. The reason for that is because once the table is filled, then we can answer questions much faster and without making any silly mistakes. But if you are crossing down one section below the diagonal or above the diagonal, when you're actually answering the questions, sometimes you miss out on certain values or you can miscalculate them. Which is why I try to fill it twice, and whenever I'm required to find out the number of friends of B, say, or number of friends of C, then I just look at the particular row. That is easier for me to handle it. So this is just a personal choice that I have, because of which I don't eliminate all the cells which are above the diagonal or below the diagonal. Anyway, let us get started. If you are looking at the table that is given, you know that A has 1 acquaintance and 4 strangers. The total number of relationships that this person is going to have is 6 with the remaining 6 people. This would imply that the number of friends that A has is 1. Similarly, for G, we know that G has 3 acquaintances and 2 strangers, so this has to be 1, which is 6 minus 3 minus 2. We are also given some information over here which will help us in filling out the initial values of the table, the cross-section table that we are looking at. So let us look at them. A, B and C are mutual strangers. So A and B is a stranger, A and C is a stranger. Remember that we have to fill this twice. So B and A is also stranger and C and A is also stranger. Similarly, B and C are strangers. So B and C over here, this will be stranger, and C and B will also be stranger. So we have completely used up this information. Let us put a cross over here so that when we are coming back to it, we won't have to waste our time on this. Next is that A, D and F are friends of E. So if you are looking at the row of E, A will be a friend, D will be a friend and F will be a friend. Similarly, if you are looking at the column of E, A will be a friend, D will be a friend and F will be a friend. This also is completely used up. C and G are friends. If you are looking at the column of C, G is a friend. Similarly, if you are looking at the column of C, G will be a friend. This also is used up. Every friend of A is an acquaintance of B. So this would imply that because A and E are friends, B and E, the relationship over here will be that of A. That is an acquaintance. Similarly, we will have to fill it up twice. So E and B over here also will be A. Every acquaintance of B is a friend of A. So whenever you have a friend of A, that person, the relationship with B is known. Similarly, if you have a friend of, if you have an acquaintance of B, we will know that that person is a friend of A. The next clue also says that every friend of B is an acquaintance of A and every acquaintance of A is a friend of B. Essentially, if you are combining both of them, what we can infer is that the number of friends of A is the number of acquaintance of B, and the number of friends of B is the number of acquaintance of A. Because whenever somebody is a friend of A, we can immediately infer that, okay, this person is the acquaintance of B. Similarly, when you know that one person is the friend of B, we can immediately say that this person is an acquaintance of A. Both of them hold true. This would imply that the number of friends of B will be the same as the number of acquaintance of A. So this will be 1. And the number of friends of A is the number of acquaintance of B. So this also will be 1. This would imply that the number of strangers of B will also be the remaining 4. Another thing, if you are looking at, especially with respect to A and B, is that we have identified 2 strangers for both of them. For A, we have identified 1 friend, and for B, we have identified 1 acquaintance. What does this mean? There are 3 people remaining for both A and B. The 3 people are D, F, and G. Amongst D, F, and G, if you are looking at the relationships that A and B are going to have, there will be 2 people who will be strangers to both A and B, and there will be 1 person who will be an acquaintance of A, and that person will be a friend of B. Why are we saying that? Because amongst A, we know that we have to find 1 friend. We have already identified that friend. That friend is E. So all the remaining people for A have to be either strangers or acquaintance. Similarly, for B, there will be only 1 acquaintance. We have identified that acquaintance who will be E. So everybody who is remaining have to be either strangers or friends. For A and B, we have identified 2 strangers out of 4. So there are 2 strangers who are remaining. And these 2 strangers have to be strangers for both A and B. It can't happen that one of them is a friend or an acquaintance for one and a stranger to the other. That doesn't work out, because the relationship between A and B is that if one of the remaining people is either a friend of one or an acquaintance of one, for the other person it will be the exact opposite. They can't become a stranger. So the 2 strangers amongst D, F, and G will be strangers to both A and B. Similarly, the only person who is remaining, that person will be an acquaintance of A and a friend of B. This is what we can infer. Now, who are these people who will be an acquaintance or a friend? If you are looking at G, because this has to be either one of D or F or G. G has only 1 friend, and that friend is identified. That friend is C. So A and B cannot be friends of G. So both of them have to be strangers. Can that person be F? F also has only 1 friend, and that friend is identified, and that friend is E. So both these also have to be strangers. This would imply that the only remaining person, which is D, has to be an acquaintance of A and a friend of B. As usual, let us fill even the rows so that when we are answering the questions, we will not be confused. F and A are strangers, G and A are strangers, F and B are strangers, G and B are strangers, and D and A are acquaintance, and D and B are friends. Now, if you are looking at who all we have actually filled up, we have filled out A, we have filled up B, and we haven't filled up C or D or E or F or G. Let us first go with G, because we know that we know the exact number of friends, acquaintances, and strangers G has. For G, we have identified 2 strangers. For G, we have identified 1 friend. So all the remaining people have to be acquaintances. So this will be an acquaintance, this will be an acquaintance, and this will be an acquaintance. We will fill up the rows also so that there is no confusion. So this is A, and A. So even for G, we have completely identified all of the relationships that G has with the remaining 6 people. The only people remaining now are C, D, E, and F. If you are looking at C, D, E, and F, C has 3 relationships which are remaining. Do we know anything about C? We know that C should have 1 acquaintance. Now that acquaintance has to come from either D or E or F. So one of D or E or F has to be an acquaintance of C. We just don't know who that person is yet. Let us look at what is remaining for D, who is the next person. Where we have identified 2 acquaintances and 2 friends of D. What do we know with respect to D? We know that he needs 2 strangers. So out of the remaining 2 people, we need 2 strangers for D, because we haven't identified any relationship of D which is a stranger. So this will be a stranger, and this will be a stranger. Similarly, in the column also, this will be a stranger and this will be a stranger. So for D, we have again identified everything. And this would also tell us that one amongst E and F has to be an acquaintance of C. We are just updating whatever information we have and whatever information we need to actually calculate. Let us look at E. What do we know about E? We know that E has right now two friends who we have identified. We have identified two acquaintances, and we have identified E and D over here. I think I made a mistake. D and E are F actually. I think instead of writing F while filling the row, I wrote D just by mistake. Anyway, for D we have identified three friends and two acquaintances. So if you are looking at E, what do we know with respect to E? E also needs one stranger. And we haven't identified any stranger of E. So this has to be a stranger, that is E and C have to be strangers, and C and D also have to be strangers. This would tell us that the last relationship has to be that of an acquaintance. This has to be A and this has to be A. This is how you fill the entire table up. Now when we are answering questions, we just look at the rows, not get confused with the columns, and answer the questions. Let us go ahead and do it now. Who are the acquaintances of G? If you are looking at G, the three people are D, E and F. So the correct answer is option A. Which of the following pairs share the same relationship? Let us look at each of the options. Option A is A and G. A and G are strangers. And E and F. E and F are friends. This is not the same, so option A is not the correct answer. Let us look at option B. B and C. B and C are strangers. This is one of the clue that is given at the start. And D and E. D and E are friends. So this also is not the correct answer. We are looking at the third option. C and E. C and E are strangers. D and G. D and G are acquaintances. So this also is not the correct answer. We are looking at the last option. B and E. B and E are acquaintances. F and G. F and G are also acquaintances. So this is the correct answer. Let us look at the next question. Who is an acquaintance of A? The only acquaintance of A is D. Who is an acquaintance of C? The only acquaintance of C is F. How many friends does E have? The number of friends of E is 1, 2 and 3. How many people are either a friend or a friend of E? If you are looking at E, the friends are A, D and F. If you are looking at the friends of A, there is only one friend of A, that is E, but we are not looking at self-referencing, so we will not count it in the number of people. How many friends does D have? D has B as a friend and D has E as a friend. Again, we are not counting E. If you are looking at F, F has E as a friend, so again we are not counting it. So the number of people who are either a friend or a friend of E is 1, 2, 3 and 4. And they are A, B, D and F.
Google search Cracku free CAT mocks. Click on the first link. You can attempt 3 latest mocks in the actual exam in the face. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis and percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your All India performance. Click on the solutions to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, we are given 17 subcategories. The names of the subcategories are bookcases, chairs, furnishings, tables, binders, art, appliances, envelopes, fasteners, label, paper, storage, supplies, accessories, copiers, machines and phones. The top 4 are categorized as furniture. The bottom 4 are categorized as technology, and everything else which is in the middle is categorized as office supply. The sales in 2019 is given and the sales in 2020 is given, and we are required to answer the questions based on these figures. Normally, if you look at the diagram, one of the first decisions that you have to take is whether we have to actually write down the data for each one of them. That is, for the 17 categories across the 2 years, should we actually read the chart and figure out the number in 2019 and 2020. If you look at the questions, for example, if you look at the first question, we are told the total sales in 2019 in office supplies. So that would require us to look at the middle 9 numbers for 2019. If you're looking at the next one, we are told to calculate the percentage increase in sales from 2019 to 2020. So for the first 4, we need to calculate the number in 2019 and in 2020. Then you are asked to categorize how many subcategories of more than 4 million. So there is a condition of 4 million. So we can only look at the subcategories which are greater than 4 million that we can easily identify without actually finding the number for each of the 17 ones. So again, till now, we don't really need to find out the numbers for each of the 17 categories across the 2 years. But the last question, if you look at it, you will have to calculate the maximum percentage increase from 2019 to 2020 across the 3 categories. The 3 categories of furniture, technology and office supplies. So for each one of them, we have to calculate which subcategory has the maximum percentage increase. Once you look at this question, you should immediately figure out that we are required to actually calculate the percentage number for all of the 17 ones. So before you actually answer these kind of questions, you have to make this kind of a decision. Otherwise, if you actually note down the numbers for all 17 of them, in many cases that is not needed. For example, in the first 3 questions, that number is not needed for most of the subcategories. But if you look at the 4th question, you will figure out that that number is needed for all the 17 ones. So anyway, let us go ahead and note down the numbers for the 17 subcategories in 2019 and 2020. For that, let us write down a table. The table is going to have a lot of rows. It is going to have 17 rows and it is going to have 2 columns. It will look something like this. Very big row. So this is 2019 and this is 2020. The first one is bookcases. We'll write only book. Then we have chairs. We'll write CHA. Then furnishings, FUR. Then tables, TAB. These first 4 come under the furniture category. The remaining ones in the middle come under the office supplies. This is binders, BIN. Then art, ART. Appliance, APP. Envelopes, ENV. Fasteners, FAS. Labels, LAB. Paper, PAP. Storage, STO. Supplies, SUP. Accessories, ACC. Copiers, COP. Machines, MAC. And phones, PHO. So like we discussed earlier, we won't fill out the entire table as and only when it is really needed, we'll fill it up. So let us first answer the first question. The first question says that the total sales in 2019 from products in office supplies categories, that is the middle 9 ones, is closest to. So let us look at the 2019 number for the first one, which is binders. Binders is the first one in office supplies. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Binders in 2019 is over here. This is approximately 3.6. Then art is 0.4. Then we have envelopes, which is again something like 0.35 or 0.3 probably. Appliances is just less than this. We can maybe give it 1.9. I think we missed one, no? Binders is 3.6. Art is 0.4. Appliances is 1. Okay. Envelopes is 0.3. Envelope is 0.3 and appliances is 1.9. Then fasteners over here, this is very small, we can give it 0.1. Labels over here is just slightly greater, maybe 0.2. Then we have paper, which is 1.5. Storage over here is 4.3. Then supplies over here is 1.1. The remaining bottom 4 belong to the technology products, so we'll ignore it. What is the sum of all of them? 3.6 plus 4.4 is 4. 4 plus 1.9 is 5.9 plus 0.3 is 6.2. 6.2 plus 0.1 is 6.3 plus 0.2 is 6.5 plus 1.5 is 8. 8 plus 4.3 is 12.3 plus 1.1 is 13.4. So approximately the answer should be 13.4. You will see that the closest one is 13.5. So some of the readings that we have done are not super accurate, which is fine. So 13.5 will be the correct answer. Let us look at the next question. The percentage increase in sales in furniture category from 2019 to 2020 is closest to. So for this, we need the 2019 and 2020 number for the first 4 categories. Let us do that. For bookcases in 2019, it is 1.9. This becomes something like 2.2 in 2020. For chairs in 2019, it is approximately 6.1 or 6.2 maybe, and this becomes 7. For furnishings, it was 2, just greater than 2, we'll give it 2, and this becomes 2.1. For tables, it is 4.4, it becomes 4.5. What are we required to calculate? We are required to calculate the percentage increase. What is the total increase? Total increase is, initially it was 1.9, 6.2, 2 and 4.4. What is this total? This is 8.1, 10.1, so something like 14.5. Approximately it was 14.5 in 2019. In 2020 it was 2.2, 7, 2.1 and 4.5. This is 9.2, 9.2 plus 2.1 is 11.3, 11.3 plus 14.4.5, 11.3 plus 4.5 is 15.8. So approximately the increase is 1.3 and the initial base is 14.5. So the percentage increase will be approximately 130 by 14.5 percentage increase. So this is translating to approximately 9%. Maybe some of the readings that we have done are wrong, but if you look at the other options, 20%, 25% and 1% are nowhere close to 9%. So the correct answer is option B. Let us look at the next question. How many subcategories had sales of 4 million or more in 2019 and registered an increase in sales in excess of 25%? In 2019, what are the products which had subcategories which had more than 4 million? One is charts. This increased from 6.2 to 7. So even though it is more than 4 million, the percentage increase is definitely not 25%. The percentage increase will be approximately 10%, maybe slightly more than 10%, but not 25%. Because 25% will imply that it has to increase by more than 1/4 or approximately 1/4. 6.2, the 1/4 of 6.2 is around 1.5. So the increase over here is only 0.8. So we need not calculate charts, even though this is greater than 4 million. The next one is tables. This increased from 4.4 to 4.5. So again, we can ignore it. The increase is very marginal, just 0.1. So that is definitely not 25%. The next one is STO. This increased from 4.3 and what did it become? Storage increased from 4.3 and it became 5.1. So the increase is around 0.8 from a base of 4.3. So this is again less than 20%. How do we note that? Because we know that this increase is 0.8. 0.8 into 5 is 4. So that is approximately 20%. But it will actually be less than 20%. You can calculate it if you are not convinced about the logic. But 0.8 by 4.3 will be less than 0.8 by 4, which is equal to 20%. So using this logic, we can, without even calculating, we can figure out that storage also hasn't increased by 25%. Only the remaining 4, which is accessories, copiers, machines and phones are remaining. So let us write down the numbers for each one of them. Accessories was 3.1 and this has become something like 4.4. So this is not greater than 4 million in 2019. Then we have copiers, which was 3.6. This became 4.6. This also we can ignore because the sales in 2019 is not greater than 4 million. Then we have machines, which was 4.1, but this has actually decreased. This has become 3.2. So machines also we can ignore because even though the sales are greater than 4 million, there is a decrease in the sales in 2019 to 2020. Phones is the last category. So this is from 5. I think around 7 or 5.75. It seems to be right in the middle, so we'll give it as 5.75. It has increased to something like 7.7. So the increase is definitely greater than 25%. How can we say that? Because the increase is approximately 2. It is slightly less than 2. It is say 1.95 and the base is 5.75. If you want 25% increase, the base has to be 4 times the numerator. In this case, the base is less than 4 times the numerator. So immediately you can say that this is greater than 25%. You can actually calculate it, but this will definitely be greater than 25%. So phones is the only category which had a sales of greater than 4 million at the start, and it has increased by 25%, in excess of 25% in 2020. So the correct answer is only one subcategory. Let us look at the last question. So till now, if you look at it, we have just filled up the table till whatever is needed. But now you would realize that we have to actually calculate the numbers for even the office supplies of 2020. Because for each of the categories, furniture, technology and office supplies, we need to calculate the percentage increase from 2019 to 2020. And in whichever category, the subcategory has the highest percentage increase, we have to mark them in ascending order. So let us actually note down the 2020 numbers for binders. Binders increased from 3.6 to approximately 5.3. Art increased from 0.4 to approximately 0.6. Appliances increased from 1.9 to say 3.1. Envelopes actually decreased from 0.3. I think this was 0.4 over here actually, envelopes. Doesn't matter, but it was probably 0.4 closer, and it decreased to say 0.2. Fasteners increased from 0.1. It was actually less than 0.1 probably. So we'll just say that this increased from 0.1 to 0.15. Labels increased from 0.2 to probably say 0.3. Paper increased from 1.5 to 2. And supplies increased from 1.1 to 1.2. So amongst the subcategory of furniture, which of them had the highest percentage increase? The highest percentage increase is either books or charts. For the remaining two, furnishings and tables, the increase is quite minimal. And amongst these two, you have to basically calculate whether 0.3 by 1.9 is greater or 0.8 by 6.2 is greater. You can actually calculate it. This will come to approximately 15%. So this will be greater. So this is for furnitures. Furniture subcategory. Why did we say this is approximately 15%? When we come back to it, if any closer inspection is needed, we are going to do it. If say for furnitures and for technology product, there are two numbers which are approximately 15%, then we will calculate the exact number. But till then we know that 0.3 by 1.9 will into 100 if you are expecting, if you are multiplying this as a percentage, this will come to approximately 300 divided by 19. This will be approximately 15% because 300 by 20 is 15%. Anyway, for office supplies, let us look at the percentage increase which seems to be the maximum. For BIN, this seems to be 1.7 by 3.6. So approximately 50%. Art seems to be 50%. So again, we have two which are close to 50%. For appliances, it is 1.2, that is 3.1 minus 1.9. 1.2 divided by 1.9. 1.2 divided by 1.9 is approximately, you can say 65%. How do you know that? Just a simple calculation of say this is 120 divided by 1.9. I know that 120 divided by 2 is 60%. So if 120 is being divided by 1.9, it will be slightly more. So rough approximation, I am putting this as 65%. For envelopes, it decreased, so we can ignore it. For fasteners also, it has increased by 50%. And for labels also, it has increased by 50%. For papers, it has increased by 0.3 divided by 1.5, that is, it has increased by 1/3, so this is 33%, so we can ignore that. For STO, it is 4.3 and 5.1 is 0.8 by 4.3, that is definitely less than 65%. Supplies, very marginal increase, so we'll ignore it. For the remaining four are the technology products, so we'll ignore it. So for the middle ones, which is office supplies, the maximum increase is approximately 65%. Now let us look at the last one, which is technology. Amongst the four categories in technology, we'll have to figure out which of them has the highest percentage increase. For accounts, I think ACC, it is 1.3 by 3.1. 1.33 divided by 3.1 will be approximately 40%. Maybe it is less than 40%, roughly around say 40%. Let me just check it out once. Accounts, yeah, this should be around 40%, maybe, yeah. Then for copier, it is 1 divided by 3.6. 1 divided by 3.6 will be less than 30%, so we can ignore it. For Mac, it has decreased, so we'll ignore it. For phones, this is actually a big increase. For phones, this increased by around 2 divided by 5.75. But again, not a lot actually. 2 divided by 5.75, like we have guessed earlier, will be less than 40%. It will be, I think, around approximately, it will be between 30% and 40%, just a rough approximation. If you are not convinced, you can use your calculator. But again, it won't be greater than 65%, which is what we need. So for technology, the maximum increase is approximately 40%. So if you are arranging these three, furnitures, office supplies and technology, in increasing order of the improvement index, the least will be furniture, then it will be technology, and the best will be office supplies. So the correct answer is option A.